It was supposed to be just another weekend in Atlanta, a quiet moment of peace for those who lived in the spotlight but longed for normalcy. But late Saturday night, as most of the city slept, something erupted online that would shatter silence, friendship, loyalty, and one woman's sense of reality. What began as a whisper on Instagram story pages and obscure X, formerly Twitter, accounts quickly exploded into a full-blown firestorm, spreading faster than any rumor had in years. A leaked video, just 30 seconds long, low resolution, shaky camera, poor lighting, was suddenly everywhere. And though it lacked sound, what it showed was clear enough to ignite global outrage, heartbreak, and an avalanche of speculation that no publicist could contain. The clip allegedly depicted R&B icon and Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss standing in what appeared to be a private suite, wearing a flowing silk dress that did little to hide her noticeable baby bump. Beside her stood rapper T.I, his hand resting gently on her lower back, their bodies angled toward each other in a way that felt intimate, too intimate. In the background, faint laughter echoed, followed by a soft whisper. "Congratulations." That single word, barely audible, became the matchstick that lit the entire internet ablaze. Within minutes, screenshots were circulating. Within hours, the video had been viewed millions of times across social platforms. Fans froze mid-scroll, comment sections flooded with shock, disbelief, and immediate conclusions. By sunrise, hashtags like #Kandi and T.I, #Tiny Deserves Better, and #Betrayed by a Friend were trending worldwide. News outlets scrambled to report on the footage, dissecting every frame like forensic investigators at a crime scene. Was this real? Was it staged? Was it old footage taken out of context? No one knew for sure, but the narrative had already formed. Kandi Burruss, longtime friend and confidant of Tamika Tiny Harris, was pregnant, and T.I, Tiny's husband of nearly 2 decades, was seen standing beside her in what looked like a private celebration. The implications were devastating, not just because of the alleged affair, but because of who was involved. These weren't strangers, they were family, or at least they had pretended to be. For over 20 years, Tiny and Kandi had shared stages, red carpets, interviews, and even homes during filming seasons of RHOA. Their bond wasn't performative, it was deeply rooted in sisterhood, forged through industry battles, personal losses, and triumphs. They'd defended each other publicly, celebrated each other's wins, and weathered storms side by side. So when this video surfaced, fans didn't just see infidelity, they saw betrayal on a level that cut deeper than gossip. This wasn't just about a man cheating, it was about a woman being broken by someone she called family. And while T.I remained silent, and Kandi's team issued only a vague statement asking for privacy, "Please respect our privacy during this time," the world moved forward without answers. The lack of denial spoke louder than any press release ever could. People filled in the blanks, edited frames, zoomed in on micro-expressions, analyzed body language, created timelines, built theories, all from a grainy, unverified clip that may or may not have been recorded months ago. But the true tragedy didn't unfold in comment sections or fan forums. It happened live, on national television, and it will haunt viewers forever. The next morning, Tiny Harris was scheduled to appear on a popular morning talk show to promote her new charitable foundation focused on mental health awareness for Black women. She arrived early, composed, dressed impeccably, smiling through exhaustion. Her eyes were tired, yes, anyone could see she hadn't slept, but she carried herself with grace. Behind the scenes, producers debated whether to address the viral video. Some argued it was too soon, too invasive. Others believed ignoring it would seem dishonest. Ultimately, they decided to keep the segment light, focus on her work, and perhaps mention the rumors briefly near the end, if at all. But television, especially live television, has a way of defying plans when human emotion enters the room. The interview began smoothly. Tiny spoke passionately about her mission, thanked donors, shared stories of women who had overcome trauma. Her voice was steady, her presence powerful. Then, halfway through, one of the hosts hesitated. Her eyes flickered toward the monitor behind Tiny. A producer had just sent an alert. A higher quality version of the same video had been published by a major gossip outlet. Without consulting the hosts, the control room made a decision to play it, just for a few seconds, as context, as evidence, as if truth needed to be proven by humiliation. The screen behind Tiny flickered. The clip loaded, silent, looping. There she was, Kandi. There he was, T.I. Their closeness undeniable, his hand on her back, her smile radiant. A moment frozen in time that now played on repeat, mere feet from the woman whose life it was destroying. For several seconds, Tiny didn't notice. She was still speaking, still in control. Then one of the hosts stumbled over her words, trying to pivot. Tiny followed her gaze, and in that instant, the exact second her eyes landed on the screen, something inside her shattered. You could see it happen. Her smile vanished, her breath caught. Her chest rose sharply as if she'd been punched. One hand flew to her heart, her lips parted, but no sound came out. She didn't scream, she didn't cry, she just stopped. The air around her seemed to still. The room, once buzzing with energy, fell into a suffocating silence. The cameras didn't look away. Millions watched in real time as the realization washed over her. Not just that the video existed, but that her husband might have betrayed her with her closest friend, and that the world now knew before she did. Then, abruptly, she stood. Her chair toppled backward with a loud crack. She took one step, then another. Her legs wobbled. One of the hosts leaned forward whispering, "We can cut," but it was too late. Before anyone could react, Tiny swayed, her face pale, her breathing shallow, and collapsed into the arms of a stagehand. The crew rushed in, medics were called, the broadcast cut to commercial, but not before thousands had recorded the moment, clipped it, uploaded it, and turned her pain into content. Within minutes, the clip of her collapse was going viral, mirroring the very video that caused it. Headlines roared. Tiny Harris breaks down on live TV after seeing alleged Kandi pregnancy footage. Social media erupted, memes spread, jokes were made. Some expressed sympathy. Many blamed her for staying too long. Others accused Kandi of being a snake. A few even praised T.I. as if infidelity were a flex. But for Tiny, none of it mattered anymore. Because in that studio, in front of millions, she hadn't just lost her composure. She'd lost her trust, her dignity, and possibly the foundation of her marriage. Backstage in the dimly lit dressing room, Tiny sat alone. Her phone buzzed endlessly, calls from friends, family, managers, publicists. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Her mind raced, replaying fragments of her life with T.I. The early days, the music videos, the vows, the children they raised together, the interviews where she proudly called him her soulmate. Had it all been a lie? Or was this video a fabrication, a deep fake, a cruel hoax designed to destroy her? Because if it was real, then everything she believed in, love, loyalty, sisterhood, was a myth. But if it wasn't, then someone had just weaponized her image, exploited her vulnerability, and broadcast her breakdown to the world for clicks and clout. And somehow, both possibilities hurt equally. Outside the building, paparazzi swarmed. Reporters shouted questions through cracked windows. "Tiny, do you have a statement? Have you spoken to T.I? Is the baby his?" She didn't respond. She just stared out the window, watching her own reflection superimposed over the flashing lights. Inside, she scrolled through social media, something she rarely did, reading comments that ranged from heartfelt support to vicious attacks. One woman wrote, "I told you he was trash." Another said, "You're better off without him." A third posted, "Y'all are done, accept it." But the worst messages came from people she knew personally, from mutual friends who had hugged her at birthday parties, who had dined at her table, who now subtly distanced themselves as if guilt by association were contagious. Loyalty, it seemed, had an expiration date. Meanwhile, T.I was spotted later that afternoon leaving a recording studio in downtown Atlanta. Hoodie pulled tight over his head, sunglasses shielding his eyes, hands buried in his pockets. He walked fast, avoiding eye contact, ignoring reporters shouting questions. When pressed about the video, a member of his team simply said, "No comment." That silence spoke volumes. No denial, no apology, no attempt to comfort his wife, just radio silence. It wasn't just suspicious, it felt like abandonment. And while Kandi's camp released that short, cryptic message asking for privacy, the phrasing only fueled more suspicion. Our privacy, not hers, ours. Who was the we? Was she confirming the relationship? Was she protecting someone? Or was it simply a PR strategy to avoid legal liability? By evening, new sources emerged. Anonymous insiders claiming the video was filmed at a private dinner 2 months prior, meant as a surprise for close friends only. Others insisted it was old footage, possibly from a different event entirely, edited and repurposed to create drama. But in the court of public opinion, proof no longer mattered. The narrative had been set. The internet had chosen its truth, and Tiny, she was now a symbol, a victim, a cautionary tale, a meme, a headline. Her pain wasn't private anymore. It belonged to everyone. As night fell, Tiny returned home. The house was quiet. Her children were asleep. She sat on the couch, staring at the blank TV screen, replaying the moment over and over in her mind. Not just the video, but the look on T.I.'s face, the ease between them, the way he touched her. It wasn't the act itself that destroyed her. It was the familiarity, the comfort, the intimacy that suggested this wasn't a one-time mistake. It felt like history, like something that had been happening beneath her nose for months, maybe years. And the thought that her best friend, one of the few women she trusted with her deepest secrets, might have been involved, that was the knife twist. That was the wound that might never heal.
However, it started quietly, as all great tragedies do. A whisper in a salon on Ponce de Leon, a screenshot passed between two friends in a private group chat, a single rose emoji, delicate, poetic, haunting, posted by someone close to Teeny on Instagram stories, then deleted within minutes. No caption, no explanation, just a flower, like a farewell. At first, no one noticed. People had seen this before. Teeny had weathered rumors of infidelity after T.I.'s infamous Vegas incident in 2016. She'd smiled through tear-streaked Instagram lives, wiped her eyes and whispered, "We good," and the world believed her. Because why wouldn't they? She was the queen of resilience, the matriarch of a dynasty built on faith, family, and fierce, unshakable love. T.I. had survived scandals that would have ended lesser careers. He preached loyalty in interviews, in songs, in parenting seminars. He called Teeny his anchor, his queen, the one person who kept him grounded when the world tried to pull him into the abyss. So when the whispers started, when the rumors began to coil like smoke under the door, no one wanted to believe it until the receipt arrived. Not a voicemail, not a leaked video, not a paparazzi photo, just a screenshot, a single blurred, cropped image from Teeny's private Fin app. The conversation was casual, innocent even. "You coming to the baby shower? I'll bring the champagne." He doesn't need to know yet. The sender's name? Hidden. The voice behind the words? Unidentified. But the context? Devastating. Because the baby shower in question wasn't some intimate gathering of close friends. It was the one hosted at their Atlanta mansion, the same house featured in their reality show, where their children laughed in the background of viral TikToks, where holiday specials were filmed, where they swore their love was unbreakable. The same house where T.I stood beside Teenie, arm draped over her shoulder, eyes shining like a man who just won the lottery. The same house where he raised a glass and said, "To the mother of my children." Except he wasn't the father. When that screenshot leaked, the narrative didn't just flip, it imploded. Fans who once praised Teenie's grace now whispered, "Wait, that ain't T.I in that pic?" The internet did what it always does. It zoomed, it enhanced, it cross-referenced, it turned grief into forensic science. Within hours, armchair detectives identified the shoes in the corner of the frame, limited edition Gucci slides, released in a drop of only 300 pairs worldwide. Only one man in Atlanta wore them consistently, a music executive who'd been quietly working with Teenie for months, a man who wasn't T.I., a man who, according to insiders, had been in her life long before the pregnancy, a man who, some say, had been in her bed. And suddenly, the man who built his entire brand on control of his music, his label, his image, his family, found himself not just betrayed, but outmaneuvered. T.I had always been the architect of his own narrative. He told rappers, "You don't get to play games with love." He told his children, "If you ain't loyal, you ain't family." He told the world again and again that Teenie was his everything. And now he was the last to know. The confrontation didn't happen in shouting matches or slammed doors. It happened in silence. At their Atlanta mansion, the same house where they filmed holiday specials, where their children danced in Christmas sweaters, where they swore their love was unbreakable. T.I sat across from Teenie, not angry, not accusatory, just still. No yelling, no tears, no demands. Just the quietest kind of devastation. According to those close to them, Teenie tried to explain. She said, "You've been doing you for years." She said, "I just made one mistake." But in that moment, the mistake wasn't just the affair, it was the lie. The lie that she let him believe he was the father. The lie that she let the world believe they were still the perfect couple. The lie that she could carry a child, a life, and still keep him in the dark. And then came the clip. Not the DMs, not the photos, not the baby shower footage. A 1-minute audio recording, leaked, muffled, blurry, of T.I sitting alone on the staircase of their home, head in his hands, breathing unevenly. The kind of silence that doesn't come from anger, but from grief. And in the background, Teenie's sobs. It was never meant to be heard, but it was. And the internet called it "When the King Falls." It trended for 72 hours straight. Meanwhile, Teenie went quiet. No interviews, no Instagram lives, no replies to the thousands of DMs begging for answers, no press releases, no explanations, just one story. A black screen. No filter, no caption, just one word. People break in silence. 2 million views. 12 hours. That was all it took for her to become a symbol. Half the internet saw her as a victim, a woman trapped in a gilded cage, finally choosing herself. The other half saw her as a manipulator, a queen who used her husband's reputation to hide her betrayal, then weaponized her silence to play the martyr. Memes flooded in. One showed Tiny holding her baby bump next to a photo of T.I with the caption, "She knew, he didn't." Another paired her with a quote from The Lion King, "Remember who you are." And then came the merch. T-shirts printed with "Birds Still Sing," a line Tiny once said on their show, sold out in under an hour. Fans wore them like armor, like protest, like prayer. But behind the scenes, the damage was deeper than any headline could capture. T.I vanished. No studio visits, no public appearances, no social media. His team released one statement: "The truth always reveals itself in due time." No denial, no defense, just surrender wrapped in poetry. Insiders say he stopped sleeping, stopped eating, locked himself in his home studio, candles lit, old Tupac tracks playing, a notebook filled with lyrics that didn't sound like rap. They sounded like confessions. One friend told a blogger, he keeps watching that video, the one where she's laughing with him, the one where she touches her stomach and doesn't look at the camera. He calls it the laugh that broke him. And it did. Because in that laugh, he didn't just hear betrayal. He heard the end of everything he thought was real. And then, the final twist. Tiny went live. Not to apologize, not to deny, not to explain. She sat on her couch, eyes red, hair messy, wearing a simple tank top. No makeup, no filters, just her. And she said, "Y'all don't know what love really looks like. Sometimes love ain't pretty. Sometimes it's ugly. And sometimes it hurts. But everything being said ain't truth." She didn't say whether the baby was T.I.'s. She didn't name the man. She didn't beg for forgiveness. She just ended it with, "God knows what's real." That line became a mantra. It was printed on posters, turned into tattoos, used as the thumbnail for every YouTube breakdown that followed. And for a moment, just one moment, the internet held its breath. Then came the receipts. A leaked voice memo, allegedly from the mystery man, bragging to a friend, "I'm closer to her than Tip ever was. She doesn't need his name. She needs my presence." The audio was grainy, unpolished, raw, but unmistakable. Within hours, it was remixed into a viral TikTok track, "That ain't Tip, baby," with a beat so haunting, people danced while they cried. And still, T.I. said nothing. Until the charity event. He showed up alone. No entourage, no security, just him. A mic and a crowd that didn't know whether to cheer or cry. He performed his hits, Whatever You Like, Bring 'Em Out, until the final song. Then he stopped, put the mic down, looked into the camera, not the crowd, and said, "I've been through hell these past few months, but I learned something. Sometimes the people you build with, they're the first ones to burn your house down. But the thing about fire, it shows you what's real." Silence. Then applause. Not loud, not celebratory, just quiet, like a funeral. And 2 days later, Tiny posted a photo. Her bare stomach, glowing, radiant, peaceful. No caption, no mention of T.I., no mention of the father, no apology, no explanation. Just one line. Every storm grows something. The internet exploded. Some called it strength. Others called it cruelty. One fan wrote, "She didn't say he's not the father. He didn't say he is. She just let the world choose. And now everyone's fighting over a ghost." By now, the scandal had become more than a breakup. It had become a cultural reckoning. Was this karma? Was this justice? Was this the inevitable collapse of a marriage built on performance? Or was it simply the cost of living in a world where love is a brand and betrayal is just another metric? The Harris children were dragged into it all. King Harris, their outspoken son, went live on Instagram and said, "Man, y'all don't know half the story." He didn't deny anything. He didn't confirm anything. He just left that pause, that heavy, aching silence before signing off. And online, silence isn't neutral. It's confirmation. Zanique posted a single tweet. "You can love both your parents without picking sides." Deja, the quiet one, wrote, "Sometimes silence is safer than truth." Fans wept. Critics called it manipulation. But those who knew the family, they understood. These weren't children playing for attention. These were children who had spent their entire lives watching their parents turn pain into content. And now, they were being forced to watch it happen again. But this time, there was no script, no edit, no cut to commercial, just raw, unfiltered heartbreak. And then, the bombshell no one saw coming, a leaked court filing. Unverified, but formatted like a real legal document, titled Preliminary Custody Discussion. It didn't name names, but the timing? Perfect. The language? Terrifying. It suggested T.I was preparing to seek temporary custody of their youngest children, citing emotional instability and lack of transparency. The internet lost its mind. #ProtectTheKids trended. Celebrities chimed in. Tamar Braxton posted a prayer emoji. Kandi Burruss tweeted, "Sometimes the streets know before the heart does." And then, the final blow, a paparazzi photo. Tiny leaving a clinic in Atlanta. Oversized sunglasses, holding paperwork, eyes red, face hollow. The caption? Just 2 words. It's confirmed. No one knew what confirmed meant. DNA results, medical clearance, a termination, a paternity test, but it didn't matter. The internet had already decided. They called it the moment the empire crumbled. The image went viral. News anchors replayed it, radio stations dissected it, YouTubers slowed it down, color-corrected it, zoomed in on the papers in her hand. One analyst claimed they were DNA forms. Another said they were adoption papers. A third swore they were a divorce filing. But the truth? No one knew. And that's the point. Because in 2025, truth doesn't matter. Perception does. And perception? It was screaming. T.I disappeared again. Tiny posted nothing. And then, the impossible happened. They were seen together at a small, quiet restaurant in Buckhead. No cameras, no entourage, just the 2 of them, sitting across from each other. No smiles, no tears, no arguing. Just talking. A fan snapped the photo. Blurry, grainy, unpolished, and it broke the internet again. Plot twist of the year. Are they getting back together? Is this forgiveness or a truce? Maybe they're co-parenting, or maybe they're planning their next reality show. No one knew, but for the first time since the scandal began, the world didn't know what to believe. And that's what made it so dangerous. Because for years, T.I and Tiny were the blueprint, the couple that survived everything. Addiction, bankruptcy, public humiliation, infidelity rumors, reality TV chaos, and came out stronger. They were proof that Black love could endure, that loyalty could be real, that family could be more than a hashtag. But now they were proof of something else, that even the strongest love stories can be dismantled, not by strangers, but by those closest to you. That silence can be more devastating than a scream, that a single screenshot can destroy a legacy, and that in the age of algorithms, your private pain isn't yours anymore. It belongs to the internet. T.I dropped a freestyle a week later. No video, no visuals, just audio. He called it Loyalty Lost. The ones you feed the most gonna bite the hardest. Love turned lethal when the truth departed. You built me a throne, then lit the flame. Now I'm just a ghost in the same damn frame. The comment section exploded. Fans called it his most honest work yet. Others called it a plea, but no one called it a lie. Tiny? Still silent. No posts, no stories, no interviews. Just that black screen with a heart emoji. And maybe that was the most powerful thing of all, because in a world that demands answers, she chose to give none. And in doing so, she reclaimed something no algorithm could take: her dignity. This wasn't just a scandal, it was a mirror, held up to every celebrity couple who pretends their love is perfect, to every influencer who sells marriage as a product, to every viewer who clicks, shares, and comments, not out of compassion, but out of curiosity. We didn't just watch this unfold, we fueled it. We turned Tiny's silence into a movement. We turned T.I.'s pain into a viral track. We turned a private tragedy into a 3-act soap opera. And now, as the dust settles, the real question isn't whether they'll reconcile, it's whether we can ever look away again. Because the truth is we love a good fall. We love a royal couple brought low. We love watching people we idolize get exposed. We love the drama. We love the mess. We love the receipts. And as long as we keep scrolling, as long as we keep commenting, as long as we keep pretending we're just here for the story, then this won't be the end. It'll just be the beginning of the next one. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep your receipts ready. Because in Atlanta, loyalty has an expiration date, and secrets, they don't stay buried for long.
This scandal wasn't just about celebrity gossip. It was about the erosion of trust in an age where privacy is a myth. It was about how quickly a moment can be stripped of context and turned into spectacle. It was about the cost of fame, the way lives are dissected, judged, and consumed for entertainment. Tiny didn't ask to be part of this story. She didn't leak the video. She didn't make accusations. She didn't fight back on social media. She simply existed, and in doing so, became collateral damage in a war she didn't start. And yet, in the midst of it all, there was a strange kind of power in her silence. While others screamed, speculated, and sold stories, Tiny chose stillness, not weakness, but resistance, a refusal to feed the machine. Every time someone shared that clip of her collapsing, they thought they were exposing her, but in truth, they were exposing themselves, revealing how desensitized we've become to human suffering when it happens on camera. Because here's what the internet forgot. Behind every viral moment is a person, a mother, a wife, a fighter. Tiny Burruss has survived addiction, domestic violence, financial ruin, and public scrutiny before. This isn't her first storm, and if history tells us anything, it won't be her last. Whether she chooses to forgive, walk away, or rebuild, one thing is certain: she will do it on her terms, not ours. As for Kandi, her legacy hangs in the balance. Will she emerge as a woman defending her truth, or as the villain in someone else's tragedy? And T.I., his silence may protect him today, but reputations are fragile things. In hip-hop, loyalty is currency, and right now, he's bankrupt. But beyond the names and the headlines, this story is a mirror. It forces us to ask, why do we watch? Why do we share? Why do we turn heartbreak into content? Because if we're not careful, the next person on that screen could be someone we love. Or worse, us. The internet burned that weekend, not from scandal, but from the collective weight of our voyeurism. And as the smoke clears, one question remains. When the next video drops, will we finally look away?